Hello everyone, welcome to another video sponsored by Bluestacks. This is the ultimate guide for Black Desert Mobile. We've made videos like these in the past. This covers everything you need to know about the game. We're going to go in depth with almost every single mechanic that Black Desert Mobile has to offer. So if you have questions, if you're wondering, maybe you feel uncomfortable playing the game, you feel like you're lacking certain knowledge, you have questions, I'm hoping that this video can pretty much cover I'm hoping that this video can make you feel comfortable playing Black Desert Mobile on Bluestacks, where you feel like you have a good general sense of what's going on. So just take a moment. There are going to be certain parts of the video where you're going to want to pause, digest, and then continue. One thing to note, BDM is similar to BDO, Black Desert Online. In that game, it would be impossible to describe to you everything that's going on in one video. It's just too much depth to it, which is one of the great things about the game, is that there is so much. And so it's like the same sort of concept with BDM, where there's no way that I could tell you everything in a 30-minute video about the game, to where it would do it justice in terms of explaining it so that everyone would understand. So without further ado, let's get into it, and hope you guys enjoy. The camp is a feature of the game that has a ton of different buildings that you can use to enhance your gameplay by collecting a ton of resources and providing you with additional advantages that you can use to progress through the game. One example is the worker system. Over time, you're going to complete quests that give you contribution point EXP. Once you get enough contribution point EXP, you're going to get contribution points that'll expand how many you can have total. These will allow you to hire workers. Right now, I have a combination of green, blue, yellow, orange, and purple. Okay, maybe there's not orange, but it's like a yellowish color. Yellow, purple, blue, green. In terms of rarity, your workers will start at green, then it goes to blue, then purple, and so then it's like this yellowish, goldish. When you go to the pub, the workers will change and rotate in terms of when you can hire them. You'll notice the white ones are the lowest tier quality. You're not going to want these. The greens and the blues, you'll notice, will cost additional CP. Your goal is to have an entire roster of yellow workers. Right now, I only have 2 free contribution points, so until I get more, I can't really afford to have better workers. I couldn't fire this green worker and replace it with the maximum tier worker. I just don't have enough space. Later on, though, you may have a worker roster of compromising entirely of the highest tier worker. You're going to want to have these workers because it's going to allow you to complete things faster for cheaper costs. When it comes to gathering throughout the world, you're going to want to choose world gathering, and you're going to want to use lodging or mining or foraging depending on what you need. An easy way to determine what you need is by clicking on the buildings that you wish to upgrade, and you'll notice them in red if you are missing anything. In this example, our town hall is ready to go to level 4. If I were to click on, let's say, the storage, if I were to upgrade here, you'll notice it says the same thing. So if I want to upgrade the town hall, let's go and expand to level 4. This is going to give us additional things that we can use and build, and it's going to allow us to expand some of our other structures to a higher tier. If I click to upgrade the town hall once more, you'll notice the resources required have incremented dramatically. Wow, it's the first time I'm seeing these values. They're not kidding. That is a ton more. So we need to go chop some wood, as you can see. So one thing that I want to mention while we're hopping over the town hall, camp funds, this is a daily quest that you can collect. It's a one-time thing that resets daily. It allows you to get free silver. Be sure to grab this. If we cover each structure, things to note: the refinery, you're going to want to make sure that you remember to take out your blackstone out of the refinery, because these are produced over time and they have a maximum cap depending on the max level of your refinery. If I were to expand my refinery an additional level, I would be able to hold additional crafting blackstones. To give yourself, your workers, enough food to be able to do whatever you need them to do in terms of gathering, I've found that the blue crops, the hot pepper seeds, tend to be the easiest to manage, where it only takes 3 hours and to produce 405 food. I've just been planting 9 of these, and then I can check my device later on, and it tends to be enough food to be able to do whatever I need without it running low. I started with the whites and the greens, but it was just too much work required. So the hot pepper seeds ended up seeming like it was worth it. If you do end up getting tomato seeds or other food that has like a long duration of time to harvest, plant those overnight. Be sure to constantly check build options to see if there's new structures that are available for you to build. Always just use the auto select. It tends to be the easiest way to go about having your workers choose what's the most effective way to determine what to build. Now that we've built that, we have nothing left to build. As we continue to complete quests and objectives in the game, you'll be able to unlock more buildings that you can build for your camp. In terms of world gathering, we noticed from earlier we need a ton of resources for our town hall. I'm just simply going to collect and click on the 4-hour duration for these workers. You can only have 4 workers per node. I need a little bit of everything. I'm going to be busy, so I don't really mind just putting all my workers on 4-hour duration nodes. Occasionally when you do send your workers, you're going to have a worker that is lazy. Just click discipline. It uses a couple energy and it will get them on par so that they're not going to take extra time to complete the tasks that you've assigned them to do. Occasionally you're going to find random resources on your camp. Be sure to click those. If you do want to see how many resources you have, just click the resources tab and you can see all of the available materials that you've gathered over time since you've started BDM. Okay, that pretty much covers everything about the camp. Let's move on to Black Spirit. Black Spirit is basically one of many ways you can use to enhance everything that's going on with your character. Dark Energy is pretty easy. You're going to get a ton of resources and materials from grinding. So here the auto select function is going to absorb it all and it's going to throw it right into Black Spirit and it's going to increase its level, which increases your combat CP and gives you progression towards locking different ultimates. The level 80 ultimates are a nice permanent increase to crit chance, something that's noteworthy. You can adjust the auto select so the auto selects blues. For the most part, anything that's blue or less quality, you should feel comfortable just pretty much feeding to Black Spirit. Anything that's purple or higher, check the market to see if it's worth selling, and you might be able to make some decent silver. Black Spirit quests. These are daily quests that you can use to complete just by simply killing monsters in the world. That'll give you boss stamps and tablets to help you progress and make yourself increase your CP. Enhancement's one of the biggest, one of the most appealing things about Black Desert Online, and there's no exception with BDM. You have all your different pieces of armor that you can craft. You're going to be getting different resources over time from completing quests. These are Blackstones. The lesser tier quality Blackstones will give you a lower percent additional chance of success. Eventually, your armor or weapons is going to be too high of quality and the lower tier Blackstones aren't going to have any impact. So you will have to wait until you complete quests or are grinding and find those higher tier Blackstones to increase your armor or weapons to certain values. You can notice that here by using the blue armor stones, my chance of success is actually starting to move up. With a 79% chance, this is going to be kind of at your discretion what you use for how many Blackstones you're investing. Pay attention to how much silver you're using because this will cost a lot of silver when you're doing your enhancements. In this example, we'll just go with a 79% chance and hope for the best. And as you can see, it still failed. This is a good example because I want to explain that using the silver to restore your enhancement cost generally pays for itself. The amount of silver it took to go for this attempt is actually quite significant. So we're going to pay the 77,000 silver and we're going to get a restore chance between 7.9 and 55.3%. If we click restore, we pay the silver and looks like it can restore up to 53.3. You have these other options that you can use to also aid your assistance in terms of enhancing, but with 53.3, that's going to be good enough. I could at this point use these lesser stones to further increase the chance, but we'll save those for the future and we're just going to press enhance again. And as you can see, I was able to make my enhancement even after failing the first time and without using additional Blackstones. So take advantage of the Black Spirit enhancement systems, but do it at your own discretion. There are some people, like it was in our other video, we went from 18 to 19 with a 15% chance, and it was successful. We just failed our helm from, at a 79% chance, so, yeah, again, just do it at your own discretion. Crystals are pretty self-explanatory. As you look at your gear, they'll have crystal slots. Make sure that a crystal is in every single slot. If you're going for maximum uptime while you're AFK, try to have as many damage gems as possible to yield as much as you can when you're AFK farming in BDM. Probably one of the most important things we can talk about in this video is the transfer system. When you get an upgrade, you can easily take that piece of gear and transfer it. So let's say I had a green weapon and I just found the epic weapon. You can actually place that into there and into the interface, and you can transfer the power from the green weapon to a blue weapon or a purple weapon or anything that's above it. It just goes down a tier for it to be able to go up in quality. So if I had let's say a yellow chest, and I were to take the power from this epic chest, it would go down to plus 15, but I would keep all the strength. In other versions or in other games, you know, when you get a new piece of gear, it's like, oh yeah, new piece of gear, but you know, it's kind of like at the same time, it's like, oh man, all these resources I need to spend to be able to enhance it can be quite daunting. So with the transfer system, it kind of takes that away and makes it a lot more convenient. The light stones are pretty simple. Just as you accrue them, equip them and make sure you always have 4. And depending on what you're doing, you're going to be able to focus on certain bonuses. In the beginning, you're only going to have a limited selection of these, so it's not much that you have to worry about. Let's talk about some daily quests that you can do every day. You're going to have social interactions where you're going to want to greet all of your friends. This is going to award you with points. You're also going to have ranks where you can go ahead and send praises for the top ranked players, and these are going to give you black pearls. You can do this for all 3 categories, for the PvP, the CP, and the gathering, life skill arena and CP. So be sure to do it for all 3 of those. And then you also have your tasks. If you do complete these, you're also going to get additional black pearl rewards, including other things. These rewards are quite substantial, so there's nothing just to kind of ignore. Definitely go out of your way to do these daily quests, because over time the rewards end up being substantial. Shakatu's Gear Shop. As you play BDM, you're going to accrue ancient gold coins. As you get enough, you can choose to use whatever you see fit. You can get some of the best gear in the game from this shop. So if you're missing, so in this example, I have green gloves. It's the worst piece of gear that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and try to buy an upgrade for gloves. This can give you anything from green to blue to purple to yellow to orange to red. Any tier quality can come from the shop. It just gets really, really rare to get, you know, the highest tier type of, rarity. But it is a free currency. It doesn't cost you anything, and they can't be used for anything else. So just go ahead and use them as you see fit. Knowledge. This is a lot simpler in BDM. This is actually, I'm going to show you guys probably maybe the second or maybe the first or second most useful thing out of this video. So if we use the world map feature, we're going to go into Balenos. We're going to go to Velia for the quick teleport. Oh, I can't do it when I'm in my camp. So when I go out of my camp, it's going to allow me to use the map. And if you didn't know this, you can click on your world map when you're out in the world, and you can actually quick travel to any town for free instantaneously. Once it brings you to the town, we're going to go to the potion vendor. This is something that if you've not done it already, you need to pause the video after I'm done showing you, and you need to do it. Man, the towns look awesome with all the Christmas themes. We just had the Christmas update today, so it's looking very, very festive in all of the cities. So here is Eileen. This is your favorite person in BDM. As you notice, she has an Amity interface where a lot of other shop owners do not have. So only certain NPCs are going to have Amity. What this is, it's a feature where you use energy to increase your relationship with them. You notice how I have it at very good, and this little bar, I've got her at 91.5, and you have this present. So when I got my Amity to 90, it unlocked a certain perk that I get with her. And so with her, whenever I buy potions, she actually gives me a discount. And you can see 500 to 475, 200 to 190. While that might not seem like a big deal, when you're spending, when you're buying like 300 potions to be able to AFK overnight every day, or to keep your character going when you're, farming, that ends up being hundreds of thousands to millions of silver that you're saving in the scope of you playing this game for long term. So like I said, if you haven't done this already, come here and expel all of your energy into her until you have 90 Amity. And you can thank me later on that one. Which leads me into probably the next thing I can explain, since we briefly just mentioned it. If you've not unlocked it already, if you notice, there's a black spirit mode in the bottom right. Over time, when you first start the game, you're going to, as you complete the story, you're going to encounter bosses. The first being Red Nose. The second is Gaiath. In your first playthrough, this should be your biggest goal, is completing and getting through Gaiath. It's going to take you into the Black Spirit Mode tutorial, which is going to enable this feature. This feature essentially lets you automatically play the game while you're offline. And so if you have a bunch of energy, you can either gather, you can fish, or you can hunt. The most effective after a recent update where they increased the drop chances of rare items is the auto hunt. It will take a ton of potions to keep your character killing things when you're offline, but it's well worth it, trust me. And so this is where you're going to want to have a large inventory. Most of your inventory space when you're doing this should only be comprised of potions. If you have the Black Spirit Plus, which all of you should have from event rewards, it's going to basically let your character play for up to 6 hours. So you may need additional LT to be able to keep your character going for the entire 6 hours. And just know that you're going to need a lot of potions to keep your character going. That's why it's nice too, if you... sorry, I was like accidentally X'd out. If you have a healing spell, to make sure you have it enabled on your character's bar. So if you're Valkyrie, there is one of your skills where you can actually heal. So I'd encourage you guys to make sure that you have the right presets for your character. So while you're farming, your character will use those heals in sync with your potions, and it will in turn have you use less potions. So basically what I'm trying to say is whenever you're not playing the game, always do auto hunt. If I click confirm here, it's actually going to close the game and she's going to go kill stuff. Now you can't do that when I'm in town, but if I were to leave town, it would just automatically close the game, and that's how you kind of play when you're not online. Great thing to do before you go to bed. Pets. If you're looking to spend money in BDO, this is where you're going to be spending some money. Pets and BDO are basically what allow you to pick up loot automatically as you're playing the game, and the same concept works when you're offline. When you're offline, if you have one pet, that's basically determines how much loot you're going to get. If you have 3 pets, you're going to be picking up essentially 3 times more loot. So you're going to need to have 3 pets. It's okay if you have 3 tier 1 pets. It's pretty expensive to get tier 4. I feel like the difference in terms of like how much better they are, I mean, each pet, depending on the tier, will give you an additional like EXP buff. But as you can see, like from a tier 1, it's the pickup speed timer cooldown is 1 minute to 45 seconds. On a tier 2, it's 1 minute to 40 seconds. I mean, 3 tier 1s honestly wouldn't be that bad. They do have some packs where you can get tier 2s. As long as you have 3 pets, that's the most important thing. So if you're looking to spend money on BDO, or you are on a budget and you only have a certain amount and you want to spend, well, that's basically what you're going to be getting. Is you're going to want to go to the pet tab, and you're going to want to do whatever you can to get 3 of them. I think there's something in the best deals actually where it gives you like a pet in one of the boxes if you buy it twice. And there might be yeah, this one here, the Hunter's Essentials package. If you buy it twice, it gives you a tier 2 pet. The Global Launch package also has a T2 pet chest, and I believe the game gives you 2 pets as well. So it's not too difficult to get 3 tier 2 pets, and that should be enough to get you started for quite some time. While we're here, we might as well go over what's worth it, what's not worth it for your money in BDO. If you're whaling, buy everything. If you're not, and you're just kind of putting in the most efficient, you try to get the best bang for your buck. Yeah, don't buy everything. That's way too much money. Well, the pets is a given. You're definitely going to want that. Well, let's just go through this. Now, I wouldn't buy the silver or the black stones. These are huge. The combat plus, the camp plus, and the black spirit plus. These, just look at the bonuses. They're huge. All of these would affect basically how well you can AFK, and if you were to have these running, you're just going to be making so much more passive income when you're not even playing the game. So those aren't too expensive, but that's something to keep in mind. This upper Steps of Fortune is a once per family deal. 3,000 ancient coins is actually like insane. I'm not sure how expensive this gets, but if it's like $1 or like if every step is like $5 or less, this option, the upper steps of fortune, would be worth it. The lower steps, I mean, it does give you a T2 pet, and if it only costs 20 pearls, let's do this for science. It's 20 pearls. Okay, then it's 30 pearls. This is actually probably worth it as well, because that's another tier 2 pet. So the lower steps of fortune, I would stay away from the daily deals. The weeklies, dailies, all those types of deals in these types of games are usually just, they bait you into it. I would ignore them. Sometimes the featured packs can be really good. If they ever say like available once per account, those are the ones you generally want to start with. The ones that say like weekly or monthly, try to avoid those ones because you're just gonna end up spending more money than you need to. Last but not least, your character should have a costume. It does give you a permanent, while you have a costume equipped, it does give you 5 AP and 5 DP. Doesn't matter which costume you have, it's the same bonus either way. This game will be coming out with a ton of costumes, so if you're not really completely sold on like a costume for your character or whatever character you're playing, just wait. They have already came out with the new one with the Christmas season. Actually pretty cute, or you're not bad at all. So if you're into the festive holidays, maybe this is the costume for you, and you'll be able to get that extra 5 AP and 5 DP. Pretty much covers the shop. We're not going to spend too much time on that. In terms of like shop related stuff though, the market is wild. If you're into selling and buying stuff, good luck. It's yeah, there are going to be a lot of ways to make a ton of silver, and it's going to change based on demand, so that's going to be something you're going to have to figure out on your own. Guilds are huge in BDM. Make sure that you join one to take advantage of the events and everything that's going on. In terms of the boss rush or the runes, just make sure you're completing it on a daily basis for your rewards and using your stamps. These offer a lot of really awesome rewards and can be used to help you accrue your boss gear, which is some of the best gear in the game. Right now I don't have any, but if you continue to do the boss rushes and everything, eventually you might find yourself with some of the best gear in the game. One thing we definitely need to touch on is the node manager. There's a lot of players that will experience BDM for their first days or weeks, and they won't even know that this exists. So let's cover it so you guys are at least aware of it. This is where you're going to be using some of your best workers, and it's where it's really going to pay off to have like their highest tier workers. So you can see I have all my highest tier workers that are available and ready to be selected to enter the node manager. So once you have workers that are free, you'll go ahead and start, and it will bring you into the node manager. If you've ever played Black Desert Online, you're going to be familiar with the system, although it's going to be a little bit different for BDM. I'm still figuring it out and mastering it myself, but basically you start at your camp, right? And as you work your way outside the camp and get further away, you're going to have more valuable nodes that you can acquire and place your workers on. So if you notice the Serendian Gates, this seems to have some of the best rewards with the Epic Stones, which is used to enhance some of the best gear in the game with the best rates. To connect, you're going to need food, and it will produce silver as well. So let's kind of learn this together. So if I want to reach the Serendian Gates, like that's my main goal, I want those resources, you have to start from where you initialize your adventure. And so we have to go from the plains of Agris. To occupy, it either needs a blackstone or a tablet. This is a good use of the tablets. We have a ton of these to use, so I don't really see why not. So we're going to place a worker here. Let's see what it does when I press the auto select. Does it just pick the first one? It does. And so it is going to consume food, but based on the worker quality, you actually use less food. And that's one of the reasons why it's really nice to have nicer workers, because it's going to consume less food to do the same job. So I'm going to send my worker there. So that's the first worker going to the first node. And now that I have the plains of Agris connected from my camp, this opens up the ability to connect to the altar of Agris. Here we can continue to do the same thing where we auto select Porio, and we're going to be able to send our worker here. Now we've sent out our second. Now that he's there, this opens up the altar of Red Nose. Now if I just click the Valley of Farmlands and I press my worker here, you'll notice it says you must connect the previous node. You can't just simply click whatever one you want and like just send it there. You do have to create a path. So those are the requirements. So if we continue to make our way there, the altar of red nose is next. So need to occupy, we have the blue black stones. Looks like we have our collect loot option or supply run. We do have these available, so we have tons of boss stamps. Let's go ahead and use these. Well, first we need to place our worker there. So we'll use our goblin since it auto-selected it. We're gonna send our worker. He's on his way there. Perfect. And all right, so he's working, and now let's connect to Velia Farmlands. Let's go ahead. Oh, we can't connect any more nodes. What? We could only have three. Oh no. Occupied node, check the effect. All right, well, I can't get up to 5. I guess I don't have a strong enough town hall to reach the Serendian gates yet. Well, I mean, I do have these 3. I'm happy with these rewards I'm going to potentially be getting. So you must need just a better worker empire to reach the Serendian gates. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so I'm kind of like learning this with you guys. The ultimate guide where the video guy has no idea what's going on. No, it's not entirely true. I'm figuring it out. Okay, so now that we have our goblins on the node, or all of our workers on the nodes, what that sets us up to be able to do is essentially also collect things from it with other workers while these workers are producing silver, and it goes up to a certain amount, and then at that point we would bring them back. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. So if I want to grab these black stones, all I have to do is click here, auto select the worker. I can send up to 2 of them, and it looks like it's gonna take quite a while. But if I send them there, they're on their way. And there you go. Now they're working it. So the node manager, definitely a lot of room to experiment to see like what's gonna make the most sense of your workers. I feel like you're going to spend a lot of time early game using your workers to gather for you, because the amount of resources to expand your camp is a ton. You can definitely use some of your workers to do this. I feel like this is more of an end game feature though, honestly, because you're going to need your workers to gather every single little bit of resources you're going to need to be able to expand your buildings. So you could dab into this a little bit and experiment with it, but I don't know. I'm a little bit, this might not be worth it at first. So if you're kind of wondering what I'm referring to with how to use your workers is, let me go back to my camp here and I'll show you what I mean. So it's one of the first things that we covered in the video. It's really basic stuff, but I'll go over it just one more time while we're kind of like on the same topic. So when I'm talking about our workers, now I just got, I actually have 2 builders that I could hire right now. But I don't have any extra CP. So if I go to my pub, I mean, I got this epic one here. I'm not even bothering with epics. If I had more CP, I'd buy a higher tier one. So that's kind of what I'm saving for right now. So I'm not going to worry about the extra workers that I have available. Maybe the meta is using like a lower tier worker to go grab the collection of those other ones. That actually might work. That might be something worth looking into if you're really trying to figure out the node manager and what makes the most sense. But this is what I'm referring to. I think that using your workers to do the gathering missions is going to be your best bet for quite some time. Because if you notice, like Town Hall Tier 4 upgrade, this is only a Town Hall 4, and look at the amount of materials you need for this to upgrade it. This is just for the Town Halls, 2,400 of these 3 resources alone. And it's going to be really difficult to gather that all by yourself. I'm telling you that right now, especially considering you also need a level 8 food storage, refinery, all that stuff. Use your workers to get resources. And then once you're finished with all of those and you feel good about your camp, then maybe start putting more of your focus into the node manager, which is just from the options screen and on the left-hand side. We'll cover the PvP in BDO just briefly. This game has a crazy PvP element and dynamic to it. So in the game, you have your arena 1v1, but then you also have your 3v3 arena. This doesn't even cover like node wars and siege wars, which is like a lot larger scale combat of like guild v guild and like 50 versus 50 style, like wars going on within the game. So it gets pretty wild. It gets pretty crazy. One thing when it comes to PvP in this game, I will say that if you're looking to do well, this is what I have for you. So if you go to your skills and you're reading them, you're gonna have to read through each one. You're gonna have to make a PvP skill set. This is a good example for the Valkyrie. For Sword of Judgment, you're gonna see grant super armor during last hit. So super armor is basically when you're performing your last hit, you're immune to like knockdown effects or stuns or those types of mechanics. You're not immune to grabs, but you're immune to knockdowns, and so it's kind of like a safety. Forward guard, you take additional damage reduction from your funnel cone. So there's a lot of different types of like PvP dynamics that are going on. Like you have bounds, you have all these different things that are going on. It's one of the things I actually didn't like in Black Desert Online, and it looks like they're keeping some of those mechanics in BDM, which is cool because it's pretty advanced for a mobile game in terms of like combat. It's not like Lineage 2 Revolutions where you're just spamming things. There's definitely some skill to it. Like punishment, this is your grab. I'm not sure if every class has a grab, but the Valkyrie does. So basically for the general strat in this game is you're running around. If you're getting close to your enemy, you're only going to want to use super armor skills. So these are your bread and your butter when you're getting close to your enemy, and then you're going in for your grab. Once you get your grab, you're using some of your high bursty moves that don't necessarily have super armor, but they still dish out a ton of damage. You don't want to run up to someone and use a skill like this because then you have no protection, you have no immunity. So you want to run up to someone and use those skills that have the super armor or the forward guard for damage reduction. So if you see a skill that has nothing, like shield throw here, while it may do a lot of damage, you're completely open to people to knocking you down or anything. And so just take note of that. While the skill is fine for PvE and PvP, you might find yourself running into some problems. If you go to your character selection screen, you're going to notice on the bottom left, you're going to have family CP, and you're going to see tier 8-1. In case you're wondering what this is, they have the same thing in BDO, is that you're going to have your own character CP and your family CP. Your family CP is essentially your entire account. So if you're feeling like you want to play a different character in BDM, please feel free to create an additional character because it actually goes towards what's called your family rank, and it goes all the way over 10,000 CP to achieve tier S, which isn't ever going to be possible on a single character. And so you're going to see a lot of people that have multiple characters on an account to increase their family CP. The rewards from this are minimal, but it is something that does exist. One of the coolest things I want to show you to give yourself something to look forward to if you're just started, you haven't really leveled up your Black Spirit at all, you can actually see all the leveling perks and kind of what things you unlock as you continue to level up your Black Spirit. As you get towards like closer to the end, you just get higher tier quests, continuous item draw, and auto absorb dark energy. The best one you want is level 60 auto gathering. This will change your life. This actually unlocked for me the other day and I had no idea, and it just kind of popped up and I was confused because it was just like, has this been here the entire time? And so for me, I'll show it to you guys. If I want to go to kind of like where I'm currently questing, we'll teleport to this town. It'll be instantaneous. Then I'll click on our quest and we'll kind of go to wherever we're going here. Once I get out of town, it's going to bring me to one of the next areas, and you're going to see next to the auto battle symbol, once I demount and run around, you're going to see a little hand that pops up. Once I click that hand, my character is going to just start gathering and running around and getting all the closest resource nodes. When I first started playing the game, it was kind of like a pain to gather because the character's like auto AI would like target random NPCs, and it was annoying, I guess, to like chop wood or mine or do herbalism. This is huge, especially for someone who likes gathering. This was just very satisfying for me once I discovered this. So if you just started, this is something to look forward to. Level up your black spirit, feed all your blue gear less, and you'll be there in no time. And lastly, while you're autoing in the world, eventually you're going to come across red stars on your map. Those are elite NPCs known as violent mobs. They will have a chance to drop higher tier loot, so if you do come across them, go out of your way to kill them. They're not exceptionally strong. Sometimes they're camped for quests, which is unfortunate. You may have already experienced this. There are some quests that you will encounter where you have a group of people just sitting on a quest spawn. It's kind of confusing at first because you're not exactly sure what you're looking for, and then you realize it's a rare spawn. But that is what those are, and you're going to be seeing those players going for those at the higher level zones. They'll pretty much be killed instantly once people see that they're up. So that's really all I have for you. I hope that you guys found this video informative. If you guys have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the YouTube description. But I've had a ton of fun diving into BDM since it launched. I've been waiting for this game for over a year. I've been playing Black Desert Online for years, and it's just been extremely fun to see the world that I know come to life on mobile. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are enjoying the game on Bluestacks. I'm going to provide downloads for the game on Bluestacks in the YouTube comments. If you've not tried this game on Bluestacks, this is definitely one of the best ways to play it. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but I'm actually playing on my computer right now. I've been playing on my computer this entire time, and it's super simple to do. It works like a charm, and it's just really easy to have my game autoing while I'm just kind of sitting here at my computer chilling at home after a long day. It's the way to do it, man. I'm telling you, if you've never used Bluestacks before to play your mobile games, this is the way to do it. And I'll also link the video guide on that we explained how to get BDM on Bluestacks. We talk about everything. We can show you how to play all of your mobile games simultaneously, flawlessly on your PC, and you're just going to be able to enjoy everything on your computer. So that's it from me, guys. This is probably my last video of the year for 2019. Hope you guys have a phenomenal 2020. Big shout out to the Bluestacks team for sponsoring this video. I love you guys, and all of you guys that have been watching these videos, I love you too. I love you so much. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna go play with my cat. I'll see you guys later. Good luck.